Staffy, a crazy game tonight in many ways, but United pick up the all-important win. What are you here to say, bro?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's one of those games where I couldn't watch every detail of it because I was just in and out of meetings. But it's one of those games, when you have in the background while you're multitasking. But I did watch the second half very well, and I'm not gonna lie to you. If when sometimes you get questions from your non-football fans, your non-football friends, they're like, "Oh, KJ, what's the matter with United? Why have they been bad this year?" Just show them the last 20 minutes of that game. That's all you need to do. Actually, just show them the last 5 minutes. Probably they don't have the attention span to watch 20 minutes. Just show them the last 5 minutes and be like, if you want to know the story of what Man United are, just show them those 5 minutes. When we that 3-on-1 counterattack, I think it was the first minute of the of extra time. I saw 3 players running at 1 defender. I'm not gonna lie to you. I looked at that and I was like, yeah, we're probably not gonna score it. And I shouldn't feel that way. I should not be looking at 3 attackers running at 1 defender from the halfway line, by the way. So they have all the time in the world to take any decision they want to make. They have space, they have everything. And I looked at it and I wasn't confident. And that's where the issue stems from. I shouldn't be looking at a Manchester United team that has 3 attackers running at 1 defender, and I shouldn't be confident that we're not going to score it. That's the issue. I should be like, yeah, we're about to bear this 3-1 game over. And somehow I knew we were going to fuck it up along the way. And I forgot who was driving with the ball. I think it was Anthony that was running with the ball, and he ended up playing it on the left to someone. And I just looked at it, I'm like, it's such a bad pass. Kind of took him away from the goal a little bit.
It's Garnacho played it to Anthony. That's what it was.
Was it?
Instead of playing to
yeah, you're right.
And then just to I'll be 2 seconds. It was that one. Then straight after that, we had Højlund running in with a guy with him up front, 2-on-1. He runs into the defender, fuming, and then we get another 3v2, and we fail at that.
Yeah, but the third one as well. This being fair with this because we praised him. Ahmad also had the ball in the goal space and just run into 3 people straight at him.
Yeah, that was Ahmad.
And all 3 of those scenarios. This is an element though of no confidence and an element of stupid young players. All 3 of them, maybe not the 3-on-1, but the other ones, they should all be running to the fucking corner flag. You don't need to try and score. And that's I do agree with you, but this is where I would look at it and say it's not just because Garnacho's shit if you don't like him. Because everyone praised Ahmad, he did the same thing. It's
exactly. I was actually not going to even say that. That's what I'm saying. I forgot who even did that. That's how I'm not even focusing on the individuals. I thought it was Anthony. Now KJ corrected me. We still had one in the first half where Ahmad messed it up. There was one that Ahmad squared to Mount, and Mount didn't score. The list goes on. And shout out Josh. I see Josh Waring in the comments in Canadian Cam. He's saying stuff you spot on. If you could put that comment on, Terry. He says stuff is spot on. Ruben needs to do 3-on-1 drills from the halfway line. And I know obviously he's saying that as a joke, but that actually brings up a very important point right now. There is no coach in the world that should be teaching you how to score 3-on-1. This is why when a lot of us, listen, whether you like our takes, whether you don't like our takes, we all have our favorites here. We all have players that we don't necessarily like or prefer. At the end of the day, we can all agree to one thing. Decision-making should already be instilled in these players at the age that they're at. I don't care if you're Garnacho, you're 19, 20 years old, or I don't care if you're Bruno, who's about 29, 30 years old, or Rashford, or whoever. These things are instinctive. When you get in these situations, you already should know what you're about to do. Some of the passing that was made, the one that Ahmad did in the first half, and I love Ahmad. I looked at Ahmad, I was like, I was very disappointed in you. Because if there's anyone that I trust in this situation to make the right pass, is you. Not only did he play it to the wrong person, the weight of pass and where he placed it just ruined the whole thing. He could have had Bruno going 1-on-1. Instead, he had Rashford drifting wide away from the goal. And that's the same exact thing that happened in the second half. There is no coach in the world, and if Ten Hag was here, I would have said the same thing. There is no coach in the world that should be teaching you how to take your 3-on-1 chances or 2-on-1 chances or 1-on-1 chances. This is why I'm saying this is the story. Simply, this team is just not good enough, and they've shown us all these attacks that we mentioned. They're all different names. One Ahmad messed up. I think he's good enough, but fair enough. He had one wrong. We'll still call it out. Garnacho messed up one of them. Mount messed up one of them. It's all different individuals, and it goes back to the same thing. This team is just simply not good enough. And if Ten Hag was here, if Rangnick was here, if Carrick was here, it doesn't matter who was here. this team that we've built right now just simply does not have the quality, not just in the back, not just in the middle, also going forward. And we've seen it today.
Do you know what, Staffy? I want to back you up 100% on that. And this is where you'll get, obviously, the people that are trying to catch you out. You'll get the toaster people that will do that. And the thing is, though, is the difference between today and many, many months under Ten Hag is that the system was there for the success today if players were better on the ball. Where under Ten Hag, the players would have made the same mistakes on the ball as they did today, but then the system and the shape would have left massive holes in the middle that would have been run through. And
100%.
there's another little area that we need to work on, and I think this comes down to a number of players maybe not having the desire, is we are so bad at winning the second ball, or I think Amorim calls it the second phase. And that's a hunger thing. And I know a lot of the eye test merchants and the techie fans hate to talk about hard work. And I think that's because generally in their life, they haven't been that successful because they don't work hard and they've been called out by teachers and parents and ex-girlfriends that dumped them for another man and stuff. And they're probably sort of angry when they hear about other people not working hard. But that's the next bit that's got to come in. But this is why sensible Man United fans have said it's going to take 2 to 3 years to fix this, because it's about rotating this squad out, and you were never going to get rid of 70, 80% of this squad in the first summer. By the way, by the end of this summer, there's still going to be some players left here. But I think hopefully what Ruben is seeing, and therefore feeding into Barada and Wilcock and co, is, listen, you may be thinking that, I don't know, Lindelof is a much worse player than Delo. You might be thinking that, I don't know, Rasmus is nowhere near as technically gifted as Rashford at his best. However, I want the players here who are going to run through brick walls first before the players that have checked out. It doesn't matter how good you are. If you're not bought in, forget bought in. The thing is, it doesn't matter if they like Ruben or not. If they are not bought into running through a brick wall for this club for any reason, I'm thinking January with Rashford. If we can find a buyer, 30, 40, 50 million this January, move him out. Sooner the better for me.
You know what I was going to say on that point? I think looking at today's game, I think if you go large scale, you can go small scale. I think small scale, I think our problem is that we transition too slowly, so the teams have time to set up and get into their defensive shape. Essentially, I think that's what the problem is. I think they're so it's not automatic. It's so mechanical. It's so robotic how they're trying to figure out how the system goes that it takes them forever to get up the pitch. So by the time they do the defensive setup, and then now you've really got to break down a low block, essentially, which we've never been good at doing, you know what I mean? And I think that's on a small scale. That's if you're looking at just this game or just this last couple games. But if you look at a large scale, I think a lot of our players that we have are jaded from the consistent, changes in systems, the managers coming and going, and this rebuild not working. This player I've been played next to for ages, I actually don't like him anymore because he's the reason why ex-managers left. You know what I mean? So I think you got all of those guys. We just have to have a new face. It's kind of like Arsenal with Arteta. If you talk about the Aubameyangs, the Ozils, the Lacazettes, the Kolasinacs, the El Neni, all of them, man, the Mustafi, the Xhaka, there were some players that, you could build a team around if you were like, this is our guy, we're going to build a team around him. But they've rotated around the whole squad. The whole squad don't look the same at all. And now you have guys that are willing to fight because they haven't gone through the trauma of broken down relationships.
Yeah, bro. I literally said the first part what you said, like in my little stint as well. Like you're exactly right. And then I was literally going to come and say we need the reset, like ground zero reset, and it's gonna look like Arsenal. It's gonna, we got the whole rebuild model of Chelsea or Arsenal, which one you go for. We are gonna look more like Arsenal's reset and rebuild than we are Chelsea's, because we ain't got the financial fair play leeway to do what Chelsea are doing.
Yeah, we ain't got the money. We don't, and
Yeah.
we don't in the short term. Do you know what's really interesting as well? What I noticed tonight online is there was a certain Man United fan who I'm not going to name because I screenshotted everything. I've got a file that's not even on my computer. Well, it is. It's also on an external hard drive, and I'm saving all this for the future. But he basically said we've got to get rid of this manager. I can already see he's a bum. This is the same guy. I remember doing videos with him 5 years ago, and when he wanted Jose out. And I remember saying to him, listen, I agree that Jose is at the end of his time, but this is about the structure and the right coach and the right players. No, it's just about the manager. We get the right manager, we'll win the league. This squad's brilliant. He said the same thing about each manager. And every single time a manager comes in, he starts off with it's just about having the right coach. Ends up turning on that coach, saying they're a bum, and basically saying, if we just, as long as we get a better manager, we're going to be successful. And this is what I find so interesting about tonight. That first half happened, and the amount of people that have always been manager outs that have already gone really early into that space of this is just Ruben. He can't get the best out of these players. The lack of awareness, the lack of football knowledge, the lack of understanding that this is so much deeper. And the irony is in this whole thing is that each head coach stroke manager that we've gone into, the problem has become even worse because the squad has become more fragmented, more Frankenstein in its kind of build and structure. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, players like Rashford have become, and listen, I think Rashford is going to go to a PSG and fly. And then you'll get, oh my God, why couldn't United get the best out of him? You might find Delo will go somewhere else. Real Madrid will come in for him. Oh my God, why didn't we keep him? It's a bit like with Sancho right now. Why didn't we keep him? Because he was never going to turn it around at Man United. There was too much water under the bridge. How he felt about us as a collective club, how the club, and I'm talking fans, felt about him. He wouldn't be doing this for us. Sometimes you have to cut a piece of yourself off to grow. And I think it's people that lack experience of business, lack experience of maybe having a family, lack life experience, who just don't understand this, that think it's as simple as playing Football Manager and signing a star or hiring one new coach and suddenly everything is going to be okay. It's not. This is a long and winding road that Man United are on. And I do believe, I've already seen it, there's a lot of United fans that they ain't got the stomach for this, boys. They ain't got the stomach. They're yellow bellies, as I would call. They're yellow bellies.
They ain't ready, man.
They're chickens, bro. They're chickens.
Yeah, and you know what? Just
no ball bags.
I think we're all gonna have to come to terms with one of your favorites is gonna be gone. That's just one of them. And I think with the Rashford conversation, obviously, I've seen some wild takes about Rashford in the last couple of days, both negative and positive. I think people saying wherever Rashford goes, I go with him. I'm like, okay, fair enough. But I've also seen people that are like, he's the worst player to ever exist. And I think your favorite is gonna go, be it Rashford, be it Fernandez, be it Malacia, if that's your favorite for whatever reason. There comes a time where you might have to just let go, and that's just one of them.
Me and Staffy will look like, I know that Staffy, and I'm going to prove your point, I think, by getting this right with Staffy. I know Staffy's not a massive fan of Rashford. I know Staffy has never been a massive fan of Lisandro Martinez. So Staffy could do the Casemiro, definitely. He could do the sort of
when he got tested today, I didn't really mind it.
He could sort of do the see. I told you, I got the best ball knowledge out here. You man are dumb. Look how bad these three players look. But then I could also do but look how much you praised Delo as an example, and he's looking really poor in this system. We could all find players and many people, and listen. Just go look at the YouTubers, the TikTokers, the Twitter accounts who hate Rashford, hate Garnacho, hate Bruno, that when we signed Xerxes, a.k.a. Jay-Z, we're like, baller! He ain't no fucking baller. His feet are made out of trampolines. He's been an awful buy for us, right? And this is my point. It's not about, I got this right, I got that wrong. It's about what's best for Man United. And you're bang on, Dizzy. There's going to be players sold who I personally think there's a footballer inside, but they're not going to be a footballer for us. There's players that are going to be sold who I think are awful, but it isn't about point scoring. The only kind of element where I'm going to say, I know I'm right, it's about pushing for the club to stick to this structure. Now, I know that the ignoramuses are going, but you got it wrong with Ashworth. I proved it with Mo and Hassam the other day. Loads of clubs get appointments wrong. That doesn't mean the structure is bad because you made a bad appointment. What's bad about the structure is when you hire someone like Ed Woodward, let him make mistakes, like saying no to Tony Kroos, right? And then you let him stay for 8 years making those same mistakes again. That's when you've got a much bigger problem in the long term. So, yeah, look, there was so much wrong with tonight. But on a positive, boys, we did win. We did win.
Yeah,
we did win.
If you know what, and if it's these performances all the way to the final and we win the final, bro, I'm going to be happy. You know why? Because This is the one trophy I believe we should focus on. FA Cup, we won it last season. That was nice. Forget it. League Cup, bro. Let Spurs have their time.
Can I throw this out there as well?